Hey folks, welcome along to a new series of videos I've put together for iRacing Season 2 2020. It's week 1. We are here at Sebring for IMSA, which is the series I'm doing this season. Last season I ran a full 12 weeks of the BMW 12.0 Fix series. This season I'm doing the same thing for IMSA with a couple of additions, which are kind of cool. We're basically doing everything as before, so I'll show you my demonstration lap, and then we'll really break it down corner by corner, all the entries, all the braking points, all the apexes, all the exits, and really go to town, try and really nail it down. Obviously IMSA is pretty different. It's a 45-minute race. We've got to think about tyres. We've got to think about fuel. There's a pit stop, so we'll be demonstrating pit stops from now on. One of the most requested features from last season's series actually was the ability to download and practice against my ghost car. So you're going to be able to do that. Hang around to the end of the video to find out how. And we've also got setups as well. I've put together my own setups for this series. Your mileage may vary. It might not be for you, and if it's not, I'll recommend a few other sources for that. Hang around, like I say, to the end of the video for that. Also, if you want to watch me crash live, then I stream most weeknights GMT, so come and check it out if you're keen. So, without further ado, let's get down to it. So if you'd like to skip ahead and grab the ghost car and the setup now, just head over to findspeed.com/IMSA. While I've got your attention, it would be awesome if you like the content to subscribe and click that little bell, maybe even like the video. You'll get a nice notification the next time a video rolls around for, say, next week's race. So we've positioned ourselves right over to the right here, and we're looking ahead. There's a small kink in the track coming up in the right hand wall here, and this is where we're going to initiate our braking, and we're also going to start our turn in. So we're looking for that kink, we're starting our turn in as this wall ends, and now we're looking up round to the left, and we should be able to see in the meshing up on the left by the apex of this corner a handily placed cone. Now you can see that on the entry, so you know you want to apex by that cone. It's a real help coming into this corner. We're going to push out wide, get back on the gas nice and gently. We don't really want to catch any dirt here. It's going to be trouble. If you do put a couple of wheels on the dirt, get off the gas immediately, get yourself back on the track and then reapply the gas. Otherwise you're going to be doing donuts all day. Stay over to the right. We want to brake by these 3 cones. We're going to bring it back down to second. We've pushed 4th gear to the max on our current setup. On another setup, you might want to be in 5th at that point. And then we're going to turn in here after the 1 cone, and we're looking around the corner. There's a notch on the inside curb that we want to get close to, but we don't want to clip. So we're going to really trail brake around into here. There's the notch. We're back on the gas now, nice and gently. You want to really apply the gas as gently as you can in this area because it's easy to spin. You're okay to catch the curbs a bit. And then we're braking again here. And again, we've got another notch on the inside curb. Now this one's a little bit more dangerous than the last. We definitely don't want to hit this if we can help it. But we're aiming to apex at this point. We're back on the gas just as we approach it. It sticks out quite clearly, so it's a great marker. I got as close as I could there without hitting it. And then you want to trail out nice and wide and get back on the grey stuff before that curb ends. Now we're going to fast forward our way down this rather long back straight. And we're coming down to the heaviest braking zone on the circuit. We're looking at these cones on the left. We want to start our braking immediately on that cone, the first set of cones you come to, and we're going to brake really heavily, a good 90%, and we're going to rocket our way down through the gears, right down into first. We're going to start our turn in just halfway along the curbing on the left, and we are aiming for that spot there on the apex for when we want to be back on the gas. So we want to get a lot of turning done, get back on the gas, again, very, very gently, very progressively. If we've lost traction or grip at any point on that approach, we're going to want to hold off on the gas even longer. So we're out on the exit. We want to hold over to the right. We're going to fast forward along. We're going to hug into the left because we've got quite an important right-hander coming up. And we're going to brake just after the first set of cones here, these 4 cones. We're coming into the brake pretty heavily. We're going to probably build up the brake to a good 60-70%. And then we are going to keep the car as far to the left as we can, just past number 1 cone. And then we're going to start to turn in and trail really heavily in towards that spot on the apex. And we want to be back on the gas when we're about halfway through this corner. We don't want to exit too wide here, but we do want to make sure we keep as much momentum as we can. Now we've got a slippery couple of left-handers here, so we need to be really gentle on the input. Try and keep a consistent amount of turn nice and early so you don't miss anything here. You don't have to oversteer around here because it's very easy to lose the back wheels. It's quite slippy. We want to straighten up here, and we're aiming ourselves into a heavy braking zone at a bit of an angle. So we're going to brake slightly out to the left around about these 3 cones. We're going to brake reasonably heavily. We want to come down a couple of gears, and that was our turn in there that we need to aim for. And then once we're in and round, we can look round to the apex and see what we're aiming for in terms of getting back on the gas. So we don't really want to clip this inside curb if we can help it. You can take it a little bit, but if you do bounce the curb, hold off on the gas so that you don't cause yourself issues on the acceleration on the exit. We want to be moving ourselves over to the outside of the course. And then we want to turn in, clip the inside curb here, and we don't want to come out any wider than really the middle of the track. You want to keep to the left-hand side of the right-hand mark on the road there. We want to just make sure we're nice and straight by the time we hit the braking zone here before those 3 cones. We're going to get ourselves down into 3rd, and we're going to trail nice and heavily round to the right, nice and tight to this inside curb, and this is where we want to be back on the gas. So lots of turning done in that time, and we're back on the accelerator nice and progressively, and we want to get ready to turn ourselves into the left. Now, we can jump the curb here as long as we don't jump it too soon. So at this point, we can get a couple of wheels on the other side of the curb quite comfortably without unsettling the car, without getting a penalty. And then we want to start our turn in and our braking and trailing quite heavily, aiming for what's frankly quite a tricky apex here. It's hard to see. It's actually easier to see at night. And we're back on the gas just before we apex. You can put a couple of wheels over this curb. It can actually help a little bit with the turn in to do so, but don't get too carried away because you will get a slowdown. That sector's incredibly difficult for slowdowns. So we're on the longest straight on the course. We're just full throttle all the way up into 6th, keeping ourselves over the left-hand side. And then we're looking down the track. We want to start our turn in. We're not braking yet. Starting our turn in on the 2 cone here. And we're aiming not for the corner of the wall, but inside the white line on the corner of the wall there. We're braking now. We're coming down. We're only braking like 50%. We're coming down into 3rd. And we're making sure that at no point we're traveling any wider than that white line. We want to be well inside that white line. And then we want to be aiming to apex on that curb there. So we want to be straight in line here. And then we can know that we're good to apply the gas here now. Keep some right turn pressure, not too heavy. Because if we're on the gas, about 90-95% here, if we turn too hard, we're going to lose the back end. It's very bumpy around here. We're keeping it tight to the inside and we're aiming for the exit just before the bridge. So you can use that as a marker. And then we're back on the gas, full throttle, just edging our way back over to the centre of the course diagonally so that we can cross the line with a view to line ourselves up for T1 again. And that is our lap. It was a 1:57.59. With that done, let's have a look at our pit entry and exit next. Okay, so pit stops. In IMSA, in case you didn't know, you are limited on the amount of fuel that you can start the race with. Therefore, during that 45-minute race, you've got to take a quick pit stop just for a little bit of fuel to carry you through to the rest of the race. Now, I'm going to cover fuel strategy and how to make sure that you've got enough and not too much in another video, so watch out for that. But it goes without saying, really, or it should, that you really must practice pit stops. So I'm going to demonstrate here one of my practice pit stops for a forthcoming race. It's actually quite straightforward at Sebring. It's right on the start-finish line. All you've really got to do is take a slightly wider and slightly slower line around the final corner so you can come up short and pull in off track. If you've got the ability to bind a key to pitting in and pitting out, please do that. I think it helps, especially in multi-class racing here. Or if you use voice comms and you're around traffic with other cars, do let them know your intention to pit or to exit the pits. It really does help, and it can keep things ticking along nice and smoothly. So let's play this back. I'll do it in full speed, and then I'll play it back in chase view at a slower speed so we can see where I'm braking and see when I'm hitting the pit limiter. Make sure you got your pit limiter. Okay, so I am coming in a slightly wider line here. I'm otherwise treating it normally, but I'm getting on the gas later. And then I'm braking quite hard and hitting the pit limiter basically at the same time, coming down to first gear. And then we're just going to cruise on the pit limiter into the stop. And then we'll demonstrate the exit. Actually, at Sebring, the exit's quite kind. While it's on a relatively blind corner, if you're keeping an eye on your F3 relative panel and you're careful on your entry, there's a great line that guides you around. So I dab the brakes just before the last cone. I'm following the white line here. I'm actually to the right of it, and then I'm pulling in at the last minute. Until the last second, I'm not anywhere near the racing line. I've got plenty of time to react if there's traffic. Let's have a look at that pit entry from the chase cam so we can see where we're braking. Okay, yeah, so we're coming in a bit wider than normal. We're holding off on the gas a bit later. So we've got enough space to swing in. And then we're braking. Wow, let's go back and have a little look. I think we're applying the brakes just at that second set of cones there. So we've got the initial cone, another cone, and then we've got that pair of cones there. I'm traveling about 100 kilometers an hour at this point. Hitting those brakes, hitting the pit limiter at the same time. Cycling down through a couple of gears because I'm only in third. And then by the time we hit the line, we're not skidding, we're not out of control. It's a nice controlled slowdown. And we're on the pit limit and we're away. So, good result. Okay, well, I hope you found this video useful. There's loads of stuff I haven't actually covered in this video, but I am covering elsewhere. One of the key things, as I promised earlier in the video, is about being able to download my Ghost car and download a setup that I've created for this week and the setups and Ghost cars for subsequent weeks. All you need to do is go to my website, findingspeed.com/IMSA, and you'll from there be able to go to each week's race and see the video that you're watching now, see some other tips and tricks, download those VLAP files, download those STO setup files, and get to work with them. If you're not familiar with this kind of thing, if you haven't done that before, there is going to be another video and some guides on that same website. So on findingspeed.com/IMSA, they explain the ins and outs of that, down to things like fuel strategy, how to make sure you're never going to run out of fuel or have too much fuel, how to manage your tyres, how to deal with multi-class racing. You know, we've got 2 other classes race alongside us here. So there's a lot of things to think about. There's a lot of stuff to do. We've also got the fact that we're on this brand new tyre model. You know, it takes a few laps for these tyres to warm up and for the car to really come alive. So the first couple of laps of those races are going to be really testing. So please do keep a close eye out on that, and I'll be talking about them next week and covering a few bits, a few more bits as I go week by week. So I really hope you find it useful. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed it and you want to see more, please do like this video. Please do subscribe and hit that little bell. Let me know in the comments if there's anything else you'd like to see, what you like, what you don't like. And I really hope you have a successful week here at Sebring. Fantastic track, fantastic car. It's an exciting race in IMSA. Enjoy, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.